Can you elaborate first off on your approach to mergers and acquisitions and how it fits into MariMed's broader expansion plans for this year? What criteria do you prioritize when evaluating potential acquisitions here in 2024? When we look at your recent loan refinancing for future growth opportunities, like what impacts does this have on your capital allocation strategy, especially in relation to expansion and, operational optimization? Hey everyone, welcome to our latest TDR Cannabis Exclusive. Thanks for checking in. I'm your host, Shad Dales. Company update time. A lot of you viewers reached out. You want an update on MariMed? Well, that's exactly what we're going to give you today as we welcome back in the CEO of MariMed, which trades on the CSE and the OTC under the ticker symbol MRMD. Jon Levine, good to see you. Where does time go? I was going to say Happy New Year, but we're in February. But man, time flies, does it not?
Time's flying. Can you believe it's the Super Bowl already? It's great to be back on your show. I love talking with you and being on the show with you here, and this is wonderful.
Yeah. How's the team doing? They have a good holiday season and off to a roaring start here in 2024?
The team's been doing great. We've got our fingers up to the edges, making sure that we're getting our numbers done and ready for reporting on time, and everything's going well. Our processing and wholesale are booming, and
Good.
Retail is had a rough start with bad weather, but we saw a great ending, and we're seeing upward turns everywhere.
Yeah, I saw a LinkedIn post this week with both Tim and Ryan smiling at a sales convention. So they must look like they had faces on. They're going to whip everybody into shape. Those boys behaving or what?
Behaving. Tim Sharp behaves all the time.
Good stuff. All right. So listen, a lot of people reached out to us. They said, where's Jon? We want to get an update. So that's exactly what we do as we head into 2024. As we're getting caught up with a lot of companies within the space. So let's focus on, and I want to ask a bunch of questions, writing a number of things. So let's first focus on expansion, mergers, and acquisitions. So can you elaborate first off on your approach to mergers and acquisitions and how it fits into MariMed's broader expansion plans for this year? And what I mean by that is what criteria do you prioritize when evaluating potential acquisitions here in 2024?
Oh, that's a great question. People really think that mergers and acquisitions are really easy. The mergers and acquisitions are probably one of the most difficult parts of business, especially in this environment, in this industry.
Yeah.
We always look for deals that are going to fit into our ideas of what we're trying to do and where we're trying to go. And finding partners that are going to fit into that mold are very difficult. And then when you do find them, there's problems of who's going to pound whose chest about being the bigger people. And it's not an easy thing to get through. We've been very active talking with a lot of different people and just have been very cautious about trying to expand too quickly. We're not looking to expand to just show revenue and not care about EBITDA or earnings or cash flow. We're trying to find the deals that are going to be assertive to our growth and see our cash flow improve and our earnings go up, and revenue is very important, which means it's got to be positive to the investors.
Yeah.
We're trying to find deals that are investor friendly and don't dilute us and don't dilute them, and basically are a creative way to grow the business. We've been doing a lot of what we've done in the past of buying paper licenses and building them from the ground up. But we have been looking at quite a few deals like we did with Quincy of struggling retail or cultivation and processing, where we can go in and turn it around by just having the knowledge of what we do best and how to bring our brands into a market where we can succeed. So when we're looking at mergers, acquisitions, or growth, we're looking at states that have limited licenses or opportunities where we can become fully vertical within our own markets.
And that makes sense. I can't imagine how difficult it would be in mergers and acquisitions right now. How do you value a company with the industry being so volatile, right?
No, we're so undervalued on stock. I mean, talking to people is very difficult, to be able to bring somebody in. We don't want to have to give away all the stock in the company just to merge in a small division. But we're working on ways to expand our growth through the growth of our own businesses that we're just finishing up the construction or expansions of, plus the ones that we've already brought back online and are growing month over month, year over year.
Yeah.
So we're going to see the growth continue just through our operations that we have today. And we hopefully can add some additional licenses in states that we are, or become really vertical in states like Ohio.
Yep. Big state opportunity, that's for sure. But limited licenses, that's the common theme that I hear a lot. But next up, I wanted to talk about loan refinancing and financial management. And if everybody wants an interest rate, they probably should give you a call if you ever leave cannabis, based on that announcement from last fall. But when we look at your recent loan refinancing for future growth opportunities, like what impacts does this have on your capital allocation strategy, especially in relation to expansion and operational optimization?
So, Chad, one of the first things that we did, we were probably one of the first companies and MSO companies that was getting real mortgages back in 2014, 13.
Yeah.
And, getting mortgages, there's a very difficult time in this industry, but we were able to do it. But getting this Needham Bank loan, which is pretty much just a mortgage, but only having to give up the collateral of 2 states and leaving all of this other collateral available for us to continue our growth and borrow off of. Refinancing a mortgage is like having a house. When you need a little extra money,
Yeah.
go refinance it, up it. But, having real rates like Needham Bank's given us, there's
Yep.
opportunities to grow still with Needham Bank, who just went public and has a larger credit signing now. So we can borrow more money. We're not capped out with them. But then there's other banks knocking at our door saying, hey, we saw what you did with Needham. How about talking to us? We have ability to do a little bit of like that. But most of those banks are looking for in-state deals.
Yeah.
They're not looking like Needham did, which is they don't mind going out of state and looking at deals across the country. They understand that market. But, this has opened up a lot more doors, and people are listening to us because we are the real deal, and we have equity in a lot of our real estate.
Yeah. And Needham Bank, needless to say, they didn't dip their toes in. They went full cannonball into this industry, but they are committed in this space, are they not?
They are absolutely committed to this space, but they're also a great partner. I grew up in Needham, Mass, where Needham Bank started, and that's where I probably had my first savings or checking account. And it's amazing that here it is, 50 plus years later, and I'm now doing a big business deal with them. And I've tried in the past, but they're much more aggressive. They understand this industry better than everybody else, and I'm so happy to have a partner that treats us like a real customer.
That's great. It's crazy, as you mentioned, is like getting mortgages back in 2014. John, that's 10 years ago now. Where does time go? And I can't imagine getting a mortgage in this industry 10 years ago.
It wasn't easy, but we got a couple of the first ones, and actually we're getting ready to pay one off in, I think, 3 years.
That's exciting.
So it's very exciting.
Time flies. I want to shift now to market trends and growth projections. Considering the growth trends of the last 3 years, what are you anticipating? Meaning, what do you expect, when it comes to these trends, I guess, moving forward? Like, what are you seeing this year?
You're talking about the industry or MariMed? I mean,
MariMed in general.
I look at MariMed, and our growth is going to continue. We have a few more years of growth just in what we've spent money on over the last 2 years, including this year. So that growth will be significant growth over the next few years, because just because we got an operation up doesn't mean that it's at its full potential for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
When I talk about Illinois and that we got the processing center open, we still have the grow coming right behind it. So we'll have flower later this year. But you won't see for 2 years the full capacity of what we're able to do with the money we spent. Because you got to get up, you got to get into the market, you got to get known. And even though we were in the market with Betty's Eddies in the past, it's amazing how wonderful we're doing with our Bubbies and Vibations and Calm in the market also. So we're seeing good revenue kick up, and it's going to continue as we build and bring more of our products into the area.
Betty's Eddies, that went live in Illinois again. When?
We were able to produce and ship our first Betty's Eddies to our own retail stores the second to last week of December, and then we shipped 2 stores at the last week of December. So we've been in there really only for the last couple weeks.
Yeah. So you talk about growth trajectories. That was a big state that you've indicated in previous podcasts before, previous when you had your partnership with GTI, but now that you're on your own here 4 years later, as you've indicated, anticipation was high. And now that you have launched, early days so far, it's only been 6 weeks in, but I assume that you're getting a lot of happy people from Illinois based on the reemergence of the brand.
Oh, there's definitely some happy people, but I am very shocked that Betty's has done well, but Bubby's and Vibations are doing just as well. And the excitement over the brownie bites and the snickerdoodles and all that
Yeah.
is amazing. That people are so happy to see something like that in that market. And every market we go to, it's great that people are enjoying all of our products and consistency
Yeah.
of the knowing that they're going to get the same product no matter what state they go to or where they're buying it. So
Yeah.
we're proud of that and we're happy to see it doing so well.
Well, let's dive a little deeper into specific strategies and certain market dynamics as we're discussing Illinois and with the recent developments in your operations. Like, how do you anticipate these will contribute to your overall market position and financial performance, especially in the upcoming quarters?
Well, we'll talk more when we do our earnings about 24. But having growth like this with Illinois opening up the processing and grow, bringing on a fifth dispensary, still looking at additional licenses within the state of Illinois. We're looking at both paper licenses and existing licenses that are open already. So we're looking for opportunities to max out the licenses, but also to continue the growth, even with the competition and economic factors bringing down pricing and everything else.
Yeah.
We will see growth, but it just won't be as big as it was in the past. But it will be growth because we have that ability to continue to expand. Maryland, Massachusetts, Ohio. I mean, those are all growth states. I mean, people are amazed when I say Massachusetts. Massachusetts is one of those states where you're hearing the numbers are going down and we keep going up, which is a wonderful thing. It's just understanding that our wholesale business, we still have some
Yeah.
of the top brands, but our retail stores are still pretty new. I mean, we just opened up Quincy and the Beverly store. We have adult use coming this year, hopefully to Quincy, and all that will help our continued growth. Again, as I said, as you open these things, it takes another year to 2 years to hit the numbers where you really expect the organization to be in terms of the levels of the market that we capture as we go.
Well, to build a brand, your product's got to be good, right?
Yes, I mean our brands and our branded retail is all about retention of customers and growth of customers. But once you get them, you don't want to lose them. It
Yeah.
means that you have to understand how to treat your customers, have the right product selection. We're still one of the largest product selections for a retail store in most of the states that we're in,
Yeah.
which makes me very happy and proud because if I was the consumer walking into a store, I don't want two, three products to choose from. I want to go into a grocery store and be able to select the best of the best.
Yeah. Makes sense. Well, I want to talk about Massachusetts. And as you said, the market has seen a little bit of a decline, but your market share has definitely increased from what you just indicated. And it is a very competitive landscape. So, how do you sustain and enhance your market share from what you're already doing, particularly in the wholesale segment or portion of it all?
Well, the wholesale section, we have to continue to develop and come up with new brands or products under our current brands to expand the lines that are in each of the states.
Yeah.
Massachusetts, our Betty's, Eddie's, Bubby's Baked, and the Vibations and Calm have all done excellent. Adding new items to each one of those brands will build our brands even higher.
Mm-hmm.
Adding a new product is an exciting thing, but that's the future growth. I see what we're doing right now is that their number of stores in Massachusetts may be growing, but there are several that are not succeeding, and we're making sure that we're not getting hurt by being cautious with our credit lines and making sure we're collecting. But we have a very popular name in the state, and in any state that we're in, people understand Betty's. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I run into people in other states, and they ask me what I do, and They're like, oh, I got this great product called Betty's Eddies for sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's us. And they're like, whoa, man, that's the best thing ever. And it's like, great. I mean, I meet people on airplanes or out of state all the time. And I'm like, I don't want to know how you know about Betty's, but I'm happy that you hear them.
Yeah. Well, you talked before about growth states, Maryland. It's been live now, what, 7 months? I'm blown away by the numbers that are being produced here, aren't you?
Maryland has been a terrific state. It's amazing how the adult use has taken off in that state. I think Missouri may have been the only thing bigger than what Maryland's done, but Maryland's been a great state. The
Yeah.
number of licenses that they have in the state is keeping it so everybody's benefiting. But I do feel that as more licenses come online, it will be evenly split, but there'll still be growth. I think that a lot of the growth is going to come through our wholesale
Yeah.
over the next 12 to 24 months, but the retail store continues to outpace what we even thought.
Yeah, a lot of upside too, I would think, in a state like that. But Maryland, Ohio, these growth states coming on market right now. And if you've already positioned and you said like your ongoing cultivation facility expansion and significant growth, the wholesale business is booming in that space. And now you're getting 12 full months of operations. What's it estimated, that market size? Is it 3 billion? I don't have the numbers on top of me, but I think it's
I apologize. I don't have the numbers on me either.
but
I
it's big.
apologize.
Yeah. Want to focus now on the retail operations and competitive environment. So considering the varying, I guess, competitive dynamics across the markets in Massachusetts, as you indicated, how does MariMed plan to maintain and grow its retail footprint and sales momentum?
Well, I'll use Massachusetts, the Middleborough store, for an example. You know, when we had a lot more competition move into the area, it's all about customer service,
Yeah.
retention, programs that make the customer want to come back, variety. People go to the other stores for a little while to see what they're about, but the reason they come back is excellent customer service, great selection, and the loyalty programs in each of the states that we have. We are finding that people really enjoy that they can come in, earn some points, and use it towards future purchases, especially in these economic times.
Yeah.
As you watch, the people aren't spending as much money, but you're seeing that they're buying as many products as they used to buy, but they're looking for that opening level, middle level, and top level so they can mix it together in their basket and get the most for their dollar.
Yeah.
So it's really about making sure that you're carrying the different levels of products for each of the customers and being able to share with them the ability that gives them the benefit to earn even more and to get some product at a bigger discount that helps them afford to keep their wallet able to buy the food that's going out of price
Yeah.
in this world.
Well, when you talk about growth, and one of the things I wanted to touch on too is just market expansion. Like, are there specific opportunities you're looking at, whether it's in new markets or existing markets? Like, how are you approaching that this year?
Well, as we spoke about earlier, Quincy, we've applied for the adult use in Massachusetts. We've got the preliminary license, and we hope to have that authorized sometime early this year. But as you know, states can be very fickle and take a long time to get that done. But that's one growth method. We're still buying additional licenses in other states to make sure we get as close to max as possible, if not to the max number of licenses. So trying to buy revenue that's already either existing or revenue that we can build up quickly through the retail market. You know, building a retail store is a lot easier than building a cultivation processing center.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can do those a little bit quicker. Illinois, we still have 5 licenses left, and we're looking at both existing and paper licenses for our future expansion to get to those numbers.
Well, one thing that's going to obviously expand and I think will help your bottom line is, if you've been hiding under a rock, everybody's been talking about rescheduling and how there could be news at any given time. Who knows? I have no idea what that timeline is. I hope it's right now as we're speaking, John. I hope there's an announcement in Washington, but that remains to be seen. But regardless,
I think you and I would hear that right now. If there was a lot of yelling and screaming in the background of both of us, we'd know that it happened.
yeah. Saying that, I know there's a lot of paperwork that still has to be figured out once the initial announcement is made. But we all know with rescheduling, bye-bye 280E. So when that day comes, regulatory change is announced. I know you're not building a business based off of that pending announcement, but if that were to come, what does that do for you, and what does this company look like the next day after?
The company doesn't look much different. It just basically gives us additional cash flow for the coming years that we
Yeah.
can use to help grow our business, but still making proper decisions. We don't have to go to the bank as much to borrow money. We can use our cash flow to buy or expand our businesses from the cash flow of that extra cash. We have run a very lean, tight machine,
Yeah.
made sure we paid our taxes on time. We don't want the penalties and interest, and we're not going to challenge the law until it does change because we want to protect the interest of our shareholders and not have some big tax burden over our head.
Yeah, and that makes sense. But I have to ask, like, if that announcement were to happen, like, have you thought about it most as far as like it affecting your operational and financial strategies? Have you given it much thought?
We talk about it all the time. I mean, we look at what the effect would be, and it's mostly on the retail side, and that's where a lot of the big retail MSOs are going to benefit is less taxes. We are almost 50-50 in terms of the revenue in the retail to the wholesale right now as our wholesale business continues to grow. So we don't look at it as much to figure out what celebration we're going to do. We're just going to keep moving forward. We're going to improve our operations and have the money available to pay for that to happen sooner without having to go out and raise money or get more debt.
Yeah.
That's the reason that we've set ourselves up to succeed because our balance sheet is clean. We have additional assets to borrow off of, but we want to save them if we can for a big purchase and concentrate on building our business through the cash flow.
It's a good time, 2024 for the industry, is it not?
It is so far. Hearing what's going to hopefully happen in the next few months to a year. I mean, there's great things happening on Capitol Hill. The rescheduling. It's not going to deschedule. It's going to be rescheduled.
Yeah.
And I think that will help the bank bill, Safe Bank, get
Yeah.
passing, which will give us more opportunity to open up. And that's where the advantages will be with the ability to take credit card, to be able to uplist, to have investors that are retail investors and not so much the day traders. So it's going to be getting people to understand that this gives more opportunity.
Well, when that day comes, I want to be on that ship that you guys rented last summer with Tim and just being like, hear he, we have arrived. That would be a good day, would it not?
I'll let you have the George Washington wig.
Well, listen, when you're growing, you got to know your consumer trends. When I look at stats, yes, the alcohol industry is a lot bigger in the cannabis space. When you look at these two industries, though, alcohol is going like this, cannabis is going like this. When you look at consumer trends, like coming into this year, what are you focusing? Is there anything in particular that you're focusing more on when you look at just the growth trajectory of what consumers want based on data that you've collected?
Yeah, we're doing a big research and development area, and we're spending a lot more money on R&D to create additional products, additional brands that will be able to take us into the future as a leader in the industry of a brand name that's consistent. I want to be the Coca-Cola or the Belvedere in every market
Yeah.
and be the name that people know when they want to go in and buy the top shelf. They're coming for a MariMed product or brand.
Yeah. Is there like consumer preferences, like in some of these competitive states like Massachusetts and Illinois, that you've learned?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting watching, this isn't the cannabis that I grew up on,
No.
but watching the people today, they're very interested in the THC levels and not so much what the strain is about, how it tastes, what it does for you, the effects. The real connoisseur really does understand that.
Yeah.
A lot of these people are just running, what's the THC level? And it's amazing. But when it comes to the branded products, if everybody was talking about when Colorado first opened, oh my God, it's going to be 70% edibles and vapes versus flower. And it's not getting there.
No.
Why? It's because no one's doing what we do. The consistency of the edibles, the vapes that we do, we're making sure that you get that effect that you expect, that it's the 5 milligram or 10 milligram that will get you to a point that you want to be, not taking 100 milligram and hoping that you're not under the table shaking. I remember when I first got into this market in
Yeah,
2010, and I got an edible in California, and I took a quarter of it, and
not
yeah,
good.
it took me a long time to come down, and it wasn't the effect that I wanted. But knowing that we got precision dosing and the consistency of the product, that's what's making Betty's Eddies the best product out in the market today.
Yeah.
Is people know no matter where you buy it, you're going to get that same effect, you're going to have that same ability, and it's going to taste the same.
It's funny. Like a lot of
Very important.
people will strive and talk about that in the space. But there's not a lot of consistency right now. And everywhere I talk, I do find that a lot of your product is spoken very highly amongst the industry. What do you factor that on? Like, what do you think that you're doing differently than, say, other companies? Or is it just being better at what you do and understand? I don't want to say understand, but some people, I don't know. Do I compare it to, like, you love sports? Is it just some players are just better than others?
Well, I wouldn't say some players are better than others. I say it's more about we didn't sit here and try to get the most expensive team to be the winner in one
Yeah.
state.
Yeah.
We didn't go out and license our products in every state possible just to bring in the revenue. We've taken our time and we've found partnerships. We're not in many states of for licensing, but we're taking our own states and we're making them right. We have our people there making them with our ingredients, our love, care, and testing to make sure that you get that consistency.
Yeah.
So it's more about trying not to be biggest and not caring what anything tastes like. If you look at some of the brands that have gone from west to east, they fail because they just sign anybody and the person doesn't treat it with the same passion that they
Mm-hmm.
did in California.
Hmm.
We are a lot different. We have a great relationship with our group in Puerto Rico, but our people go down there and they help produce the 3 months worth of supply and fly out.
Mm-hmm.
But is there to make sure that we're consistent, that we're choosing the right partners. It's no different than trying to do a merger and acquisition.
Yeah.
Making sure we're doing the right thing for our investors and that product and that the final results are going to be best for the company.
It's what we're in an industry where a product that you have in California may not be the same that you have in Florida. And that's just the reality. But if you can be consistent, and I know that's pretty obvious to say, it's difficult, in this industry to do, but trial and error. And if you're able, obviously, to accomplish that, then you can understand how you start to build your own footprint within the industry and, more importantly, a brand, right?
Absolutely. And that's why we're very proud of the fact that we didn't just take money and go buy things for just say we had revenue. We've taken the money and we've built things slowly to make sure we had that same quality and consistency everywhere we go. Not just the edibles, but the flower. The
Yeah.
way we grow our grow room so that we're not losing and getting infections or mold or anything else at our facilities is by separate rooms. Or you've seen the rooms, everything's separate.
Yeah.
There's no sharing.
Yeah.
You don't share water, you don't share HVAC, you don't share anything except for maybe a human being coming in to turn the music on and play a little rock and roll in the afternoon, a little Mozart at night. But it's about keeping things consistent.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, this has been good. Last thing I'll ask is, like, I guess, future outlook and industry perspectives. Like, if you're sitting in front of a group of investors, like, if they asked you, like, what do you think is your long-term vision for this company in the context of, within the context, I should say, of the industry trends and challenges, what would you say to them?
I would tell them that you've been with us for several years and I need you to be a little bit more patient. Our growth is here. We're continuing to grow. If you look at the other people in the industry, their growths are slowing down. We're not. We're still going to grow. We're going to be up at the top tier because we're going to continue to grow through just what we have up and running and finishing operations right now. So, with patience, we will get you to the next level. And you got to understand the share price may not be the right price today, but if you all help us, we'll get it to the right price in the future.
Yeah, that's great. Also, to our viewers out there, we actually launched a 48-page document, initiated coverage on your company. If people want to have access to that research report, log on to thedalesreport.com, and we'll outline every single comparative as to why we found MariMed to be very, very interesting. But I hope your team got a chance to read it, and I thought hopefully that you enjoyed what we put together. But We've got a lot of positive feedback. And more importantly, I wish you and the team all the best here in 2024 as we gear up, hopefully, is the turning point within this industry from a legislation standpoint as well.
Yeah, well, I want to thank you and your team for that wonderful report. It was well done. I did like some of the points that you had put in there, and they're right on. And I'm happy that you were able to come to the same conclusion as we know internally. So it's great to see that you guys have learned your lessons.
We're
And
learning.
very well.
We're learning, John. I'm losing a little bit of this hair too, a little bit of gray, but it shows character, right?
It absolutely shows character because I get a lot more gray than you, but I'm very happy that I still have hair, and I don't mind turning gray.
Yeah. Before I let you go, I know you're a sports fan. Who you picking? Niners, Chiefs?
I'm going Niners and over. I may actually do a tease of Kansas City and over.
I was surprised too to see the Godfather not get a head coaching job this offseason. But as we were saying before we started filming, I think he's probably waiting to find the right position. I don't think Bill Belichick in Atlanta makes sense. Do you?
I think the Lone Star State.
I think that's coming.
We all do.
Should have happened this year, but whatever. That'd be kind of make Patriots fans sick if they saw Bill Belichick raise a Super Bowl trophy for the Cowboys. I don't think people would like that. But, man, I don't care. You guys had a heck of a run. 7 rings, or 6 or 7. I don't know how many it was. It was a lot.
Hey, we'll be back. We're not done yet.
You're right. You're right.
Rod Mayo is going to be a great influence to the players, and we look forward to the new season.
Yeah. Well, listen, best of luck heading into this year. Keep up the great work. And obviously, we'll keep in close touch with you as we start to hear more and more announcements. This should be good, but appreciate it. We'll check back with you next month.
Thanks, Chad. I appreciate being here, and thank you to everybody for listening.
Thanks, John.
What is up, everyone? What'd you think of the video? Leave a comment below. And as usual, if you want to subscribe to our channel, then click on the link here. If you want to see more videos like this, then click on the link here. As usual, click on that bell right below us to get all the notifications, because at the end of the day, TDR sets the narrative because we would not be here without you. Thanks for watching, everyone.